What on earth is going wrong at Liverpool Football Club? Right now, they are an absolute mess. They're all over the place. If we cast our mind back to the 25th of February, Liverpool had just lifted the Caballero Cup, the first piece of silverware that the English football has to offer this season. Liverpool won it. It was a monumental victory. They won it with the kids. Jurgen Klopp rallied the troops and everyone was singing from the same hymn sheet. It was a fantastic performance. Since then, it's been a downward spiral, downward trajectory. They've had a couple of good results here or there, and they have won a lot of games since here or there. But every single game that they have won has been fine margins. I'll give you an example. They beat Nottingham Forest in the 97th minute of a goal that probably shouldn't have even counted. They beat Sheffield United and Brighton from last-minute daggers, but it's not looking natural. It's not looking fluid football that we've seen from Jurgen Klopp in the last 3 or 4 years. We were talking about a quadruple. We were talking about, can Liverpool be the first team to win 4 trophies in a season? Then they go up against Manchester United in the FA Cup. They were 2-0 down at one point. They managed to rally the troops and get back into the game. It goes to extra time and they lose at the death. They've had more than 90 shots against Manchester United this season and scored 5 goals. Liverpool have lost their clinical edge, but it's more than that. They look awful defensively. They're not keeping enough clean sheets. Don't get me wrong. Right now, they could still easily win the Premier League, but they look nowhere near the team that we saw maybe 1 or 2 months ago. Drawing to Manchester City in a game they probably should have won. Drawing at Old Trafford in a game they probably should have won. And they've just lost 3-0 to Atalanta in the Europa League. Liverpool walk in with their chest out, big shoulders, biceps flexing, and just get absolutely embarrassed by 66-year-old Gasperini. I think right now, when you look at the other two in the title race, when you look at how strong Arsenal are collectively in terms of how many goals they've got in their team and how strong they are defensively, when you look at Manchester City have been the best team in the land the last 15, 16 months. They won 5 trophies last year, and now they're getting in their groove, going and scoring 3 goals at the Bernabeu, comfortably beating Palace and Villa. Liverpool look the weakest of the 3. They look the weakest. Now, if you're a Liverpool fan, you are praying that Arsenal and Manchester City both get through to the next round of the Champions League so they get each other, because they will go 12 rounds, hammer and tong, and absolutely destroy each other for 180 minutes. But Liverpool shouldn't be in a position where they're relying on other teams to win games. And when you look at their recent results, I mean, you've got to be beating Manchester United. You've got to be beating Atalanta in Europe. They got a tough run. Some tough games coming up. They've still got to play a Merseyside derby. Still got to play Spurs. I don't think they'll beat Villa. I'm trying to come to grips of where it's gone wrong for Liverpool, because they've got so much talent. Is it the fact that they're missing Trent Alexander-Arnold and Alisson? No, I don't necessarily think it is, because Connor Bradley and Kelleher have done brilliantly since they've come in. Is it the arrogance? We're Liverpool Football Club. We're one of the biggest teams around. No, I don't necessarily think it is. What I think it is their forwards. Gakpo has been atrocious for the last few months. Luis Diaz, whenever he gets in a wide area and takes a player on, when he should shoot, he takes an extra 3 or 4 touches and tries to take another man on. And when he should take a man on, he ends up shooting. Mohamed Salah hasn't been performing in the last 3 or 4 games. And it's simple. When Mohamed Salah doesn't perform, Liverpool don't look nowhere near as cutting edge. I think Darwin Núñez has probably been one of their better forwards this season. He's got double digits for goals and assists. It's not clicking right now for Liverpool. And I'm going to say it, I don't think, as it stands, they're going to come back against Atalanta. I mean, they are the comeback kings in Europe. We've seen it against Barcelona. We've seen how strong they've been in Europe. They've got a European pedigree. But to concede 3 goals against a team that has only won 1 trophy in their history, and is not even having that great of a season when you look at recent years, I'm struggling to find a way of processing my thoughts to think that Liverpool are going to come back. I don't think they are going to come back. And if they don't come back, they probably will be one of the titles of the Premier League season. But the volume of chances they're missing in games is absolutely insane. 28 shots against Manchester United in their last Premier League game. The game was all in their hands, in complete cruise control. And a moment of madness from Quansah. And Bruno Fernandes scores an absolute worldie. It's almost like it's a lack of concentration defensively, and it's no cutting edge going forward. I think their best players this season have been some of their midfielders. I think Endo's been fantastic. I think McAllister's probably been the signing of the season. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. Can play in the 6, can play in the number 8, and they picked him up for like £35 million. It's an absolute steal when you look at how many players have gone for more in the Premier League. Just this window alone, Arsenal spent 200 million on Kai Havertz, Timber and Rice. Now, when you look at value for money, Kai Havertz has done well, and so has Rice, but 34 million quid for McAllister. And it's almost like they're looking for a hero every time they go down. You know, Gary Neville said it the other day on Sky Sports. When you go behind, you need to be patient and wait for the openings. Don't rush things. Liverpool against Atalanta, they looked a shadow of themselves. No final third passes were meeting their man. They weren't taking players on. And it's almost like now that Liverpool have kind of got this, I don't want to say reputation, but everything seems to be forced in the final third. You can't have 30 shots against Manchester United, not once, but twice, and only score a couple of goals. Against Arsenal this season, Arsenal nullified them home and away. Manchester City nullified them home and away. They've lost a few more games, or drawn a few more games than they should have. You know, when I look at in recent times, and they're being bowed out by late minute goals. To like the Sheffield United game, for example, they 1-1 with Sheffield United up until the 75th minute. If it's not for a McAllister absolute worldie, they're struggling to beat teams like Sheffield United. When you look at the other two, Manchester City have just put 8 goals past Aston Villa and Crystal Palace. Arsenal defensively are one of the best teams in Europe. They're the best team in the Premier League defensively. As long as their defence plays well, which it normally does, the rest takes care of itself. They've got goals from everywhere. And so are Liverpool to a degree, but Arsenal and City are not wasting this amount of chances. It's absolutely insane. Atalanta played it to a T tactically on how to beat Liverpool. If you defend your crosses well, if you defend your set pieces well, and if you leave no space in behind, Liverpool notoriously, and have this season on a number of occasions, struggle to break down a low block. I think Diaz has been disappointing last few weeks. Gakpo's been atrocious. Mohamed Salah, they've got to step it up. They got to, you know, it's not an easy game, Crystal Palace at home this weekend. I do think Liverpool will get the job done, but we were talking about doing a quad only a few weeks ago. They got embarrassed in the FA Cup by Man United at the death. They should never have conceded 3 goals at Man United. They just conceded 3 goals at home to Atalanta. They're probably going to get knocked out of that. Could Jurgen Klopp really be lifting 1 trophy at the end of this season? You know, he only has 3 or 4 home games left in the league, and one of them they've just been absolutely played off the park by Atalanta. And when I mean played off the park, I mean they took their chances. It was a Skamaka masterclass. His hold-up play, winning his headers, the finishing, the pass through to the final goal for Atalanta. If Jurgen Klopp only wins 1 trophy this season, then does his Premier League legacy really meet the likes of Jose, the likes of Arsene Wenger? It's interesting right now, but they've got to fix up now. Go and beat Crystal Palace. Go back out there, try and claw a few goals back in the first half and see what you're made of. But realistically, they've got enough firepower and they've got enough quality to go there and put a few goals past Atalanta and get back in the tie. And if anyone can come back in Europe, it is Liverpool, but away from home is a different kettle of fish. And Gasperini is an old fox. He'll know exactly the dark arts to roll on the floor, to stink it out. I'm not going to lie, guys. If I was a Liverpool fan right now, I would be extremely worried. The favourites of the Europa League potentially going crashing out in a massive shock, and their Premier League form in recent games is not good enough for a team that have aspirations to win the Premier League. I'm not going to lie to you guys right now. I'd be worried if I was a Liverpool fan. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.